And last question, now that you're kind of, this liberated independent, obviously you weren't shy about talking about the Democratic Party as a Democrat. But, what's interesting to me is I get criticism, Jimmy Dore gets criticism, politicians like you get criticism that you are like, you're going to help elect Trump, re-elect Trump, and you're going to help the Republicans keep the House, and yada, yada, yada. As I can't speak for you, but as far as me, I'm trying to expose things so we could help get rid of extreme conservatism. But it seems to me the blueprint for 2016, which was just like, let's make Trump intolerable, that is still the blueprint from the Democratic Party, only it's become worse. Now it's fundraisers, DNC emails about porn stars and Russian trolls and all the rest. And now on the outside for the Democratic Party, do you see a deja vu as we head into the midterms in 2020?
Yes, nothing has changed. And the mainstream of the Democratic Party has only itself to blame. Not even Donald Trump, not Vladimir Putin, and certainly not progressives. Their problem started well before 2016. You can go back to 2010 and 2014. These were bloodbaths for Democrats, not just in Congress, but nationwide. So we wake up now, and the Democratic Party is in its weakest position in the U.S. House of Representatives, in the Senate, in state legislatures, in governorships, since any time since 1920. It's 98 years ago. I've come to believe that the Democratic Party, certainly in the state of Florida, but it seems this way everywhere, nationally and in all the states, has become a conduit for money, for taking money from corporate lobbyists and paying it out to this consultant media complex. And as long as it fulfills that function, it stays entrenched in power. And it's got two objectives, a primary objective and a secondary objective. The primary objective is to literally win their primaries, is to defeat progressive grassroots challengers and keep the Democratic Party a corporate-dominated party that will take money from the corporate lobbyists and pay it out to these consultants and media advisors. Their secondary objective is to win general elections in November if they can against Republicans. But that's only secondary because the corporate interests that back the Democratic establishment like it that way. To those corporate interests, it doesn't mean that much of a difference whether it's a Democrat or a Republican who wins in November as long as they're taking corporate money. So the real challenge is to unseat these Democrats in primaries. I tried to do it last time in a primary. It's uncertain what the outcome of that election was, and I've had to muzzle my skepticism of the official results for far too long. But the destruction of those ballots in violation of federal law and in violation of a court's order has really opened people's eyes that perhaps there was something way off there. So the Democratic Party is in need of reform. I have a lot of respect for folks, progressives, who are challenging incumbents in Democratic primaries. I'm not here saying you've got a Dem exit and that's the only way to go. I respect people who are fighting this corporate machine wherever they're fighting it, whether it's within the Democratic Party or outside the Democratic Party. But this is a fight that we have to have. We can't just say, well, it's beaten me down, I've got to throw in my cards, somebody else will do it. The stakes are just too high right now, and we're still fighting, and I think we have a path forward. And since I made that decision and announced that decision to run as an independent, like I said earlier, we've seen a big upsurge in donations at timcanova.com. I plead for everybody who's hearing this message to come to our aid. This is a critical hour. We need your help, and this is how we will overcome.
Yeah, and I'll just add, and it's totally a plug for myself as well, but whether it's me or other media, people want to support independent media. You need real media covering campaigns like this because Tim and other candidates like him, whether it's you're running as a Democrat or independent, there is a information gap. I have seen it up close when I cover Tim Canova's volunteers knocking on doors. A lot of people either don't know there's an election or don't know who Tim Canova or the candidates are, but they do use their phones and they do go on YouTube and they do, so whether it's supporting, someone like me to actually get in the field to do it or whoever you want to support, I think media is a big part of the picture.
I agree, Jordan. The mainstream media here bends over backwards, first, not to cover a race like this. They'd rather cover just mindless distractions, to tell you the truth, or the local crime news. Certain statements to try to make an insurgent challenger look bad. It's only because of alternative media. Real journalists like you mentioned Jimmy Dore, Tim Black. There are a number of folks out there who are covering this race and will continue to cover it. I think it's so important what you're doing. It was so important 2 years ago. You were one of the only folks who were out there covering what was happening in Flint, Michigan, and then the Dakota Access Pipeline when the mainstream media was staying away from it. So folks do need to step up and to support independent journalism like you're providing for us.